Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of
The English Couple.
Yes, a couple of flower pot men and women. Well, that's one of the tasks that we're doing today. Welcome back to the channel, lovely to see you. It's great to be back in the land of making the videos for your delectation.
Nice to be back in the swing of it.
Yes, on the old golf course.
Not that we're going to be golfing.
No, absolutely not.
Although we have found a couple of golf balls on the
We have,
land.
yeah. So someone's been up here
Golfing.
mucking about, but not while we've had the land. No. So, in this episode, unfortunately, I disturbed when I lifted a red box full of rubble underneath some, mice.
So our little growing area, little fenced growing area, has been getting a little bit neglected and it's starting to look rather rubbish.
So lots to look forward to, hopefully, fingers crossed, as we know. When we record this bit, we haven't done the rest of the episode. But what are we doing here, Julia?
Here today, we have been granted very kindly some lovely terracotta pots, as we mentioned last time. But what we've also got is plants that we have also been granted.
Yes.
Like some ash treelings.
Yes.
And some St John's wort.
Comfrey.
And
various things.
Yes.
And
they have been slightly neglected for a while, haven't they?
They have.
We were given them, they were sent in the post, and we had to quickly get them into soil before we went off and worked away for a week.
And they've been in the polytunnel for a while, over the cold winterish bits. Of course, we're still technically in winter, but it's a bright sunny day, and we thought, let's get them out into the open.
Actually, this lovely pot full of plants given to us by the lovely Fiona, it has been home over the winter to a hibernating rodent of some kind. I'm not sure what, I never saw it, but I did see the tunnels, and it's been eating the comfrey.
Yes.
And I think it's destroyed the St John's wort roots.
Oh dear.
Because it doesn't look good.
But everything else looks intact.
Everything else looks fine.
So what we're going to do, we're going to get them in the pots
We need
today?
to plant them in other pots because we're not quite ready to put them in the ground yet. We don't know where exactly we want to do that.
But
it's all still taking shape. But that's what we need to do today.
So let's get on with it.
Yeah. So we've got them all in pots now, not just the ones in that silver box planter, but some of the other ones that were in other little pots. So we've got comfrey, we've got ash, red currant, the St John's wort, however you pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's survived, but I planted it again just in case. Coltsfoot, that was a tricky one. Separating that, I think we'd have some of the newspaper around the roots as well, which confused matters. Plus, the pot it was in was cracked and it started to come out the side, so that was confusing. And it's very fragile. They break quite easily, but I'm also told they're quite hardy, so hopefully it'll bounce back regardless. We have a little dandelion, which came accidentally with the comfrey, I believe, because that was a very established chunky root. But I'm delighted with that because that, from where it's come from, is going to be a nice, clean, organic one, not near roads for decades and decades at the very, very least. So that's going to be great for starting a nice salad garden for the tortoise. We've got rowan tree here and lemon balm. That was quite a trick to separate, but I had to shake out the roots to get them really loose. It'd been a bit drowned, that one, but it's going to do fine. Then we've got blackcurrant. Blackcurrant, they separated nicely, easy, pop, pop, pop. And then gooseberry. So, exhausting, but I'm happy with all of that.
It's still February, and it's a good time when the sun comes out, and it still is to do a lot of clearance work. And some of that clearance work, of course, is the brambles and the stuff that's grown and got out of control, but also here in this spot near the gate, something that I've really, well, it's really upset me seeing it, and not only that, seeing it in the episodes, and that is when we took on the land, the few months that we've been here, whoever had it before had some sort of, I think, photographic business, and for some reason he was bringing up chemicals in plastic containers. You would have seen them, these white plastic containers spread out. He wasn't pouring it onto the land, but he was taking the empty containers and I think just storing them here because he couldn't be bothered to go down to the dump, I imagine. Anyway, they've been strewn by the gate. So the first thing you see, or anytime we're filming down this part, you'd see this rubbish, this white glaring rubbish. I didn't like it, and we've been busy with other bits and pieces, of course, but now I've cleared up this area and I stored them just the other side of the gate, and at some point we'll just get rid of them, take them down to the dump. If anyone wants any broken plastic nonsense, you're very welcome. And it's exposed some more rubble, which is going to be very useful, bricks and things for getting things off the ground, but also on our lane or the track coming up, which needs a bit of firming up. Unfortunately, I disturbed, when I lifted a red box full of rubble underneath some, well, mice, I think they were, or shrews or something, and they all leapt out. There was about 3 or 4 of them leapt out of a little hole. So I was very sorry to do that, but we've got to clear this whole area because there's blackthorn here, and once that gets back into life, it's going to be an impenetrable area. So I wanted to get that job done whilst I had the advantage. I think time for a sit down. So we are now where our potato patch is going to be, and we showed you, if you were watching our last episode, where that might be, and we just laid some boards down, didn't we?
Yes. We only had a couple of boards laid down to demarcate where we were going to have it, but now we've actually got the plastic laid down and securing it with stones and wood.
And now you may have seen earlier in this episode that we've been using commercial garden centre compost when Julie was planting the comfrey, the ash trees and all the other bits and bobs. And of course, to do the amount that we want is going to be quite prohibitively expensive in those small bags.
But the reason we're having to buy it in is because we've not been here long enough to have created our own compost yet.
No, exactly. And we still need some manure and more green stuff and the wood and the time to get that all together. So
we've got some things started,
yeah,
but we need more.
We need a hell of a lot more. And that's what we're learning. But you can buy in great big builders bags compost and topsoil, but you have to have it delivered, of course, unless you've got a crane and a thing to lift it in a van and take it to where you want it. Of course, per volume it's cheaper, but it's still a lot of money to buy a big bag of it. I don't know what it is, about 80 quid or something for a big bag. I don't know. Anyway, when we've either got the caravan or we know that we're going to be here on consecutive days, we can order that, because you don't always know when the van is going to turn up and they'll ring and there'll be nobody here, or we are here and we go to the gate and all that sort of stuff. Because we don't want it turning up at our house and then we'll have to debunk it into a bag.
Yeah, that would be frustrating.
But we need a large quantity of it, basically, to build up the mound for the potatoes and all the other veg that we're going to do. But so this is kind of stage 1, damping down the ground, getting rid of all the grass and everything, and then putting compost and topsoil and whatever else we need. We do have our nettle soup.
Yep.
Which is very tasty. Don't know if you've ever tried it. It's very nice with a bit of coriander. although we haven't grown any coriander yet ourselves. No.
So we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We've got spinach. We can put a tiny bit of... Anyway, point is, that can add to the bit of fertilisation to help the old potatoes, as far as I know.
Yes.
Do you know any better?
Well, we've got the blood, fish and bone stuff as well,
Yes,
haven't we?
we've got some blood, fish and bone. Do you use that with potatoes?
Don't know.
Who knows? Maybe, I think you just sprinkle it on, don't you?
We'll consult our books, and if that fails, we'll consult our friends.
And if that fails, we'll consult each other.
Yeah.
And that will fail. But never mind.
Blind leading the blind.
Absolutely. So anyway, we just thought we'd show, we got the plastic down, we've got that sorted. We are getting a bit cloudy, it's getting a bit cold.
Getting cold again now.
So that's probably all we're going to do at this point here. But there's always more to do. I'm clearing an area. There's a mound here of what looks like detritus, really. Plastic bags. There's even an old squished football in here. Bottles, plastic bottles, and weeds, dirt, and of course twigs and things. And it's just a mound with moss all over the top, and I'm putting it in this wheelbarrow and sorting out stuff for our horticulture area. But the principal reason I'm doing this is that this area is a nice place to put our caravan when it comes. And we have actually been offered one, so it's been absolutely brilliant news. So this will be pretty much where the door's going to be. So I've got to clear that out, and we're going to put a decking so that you don't go straight into the mud, and when you come from the gardening you can go straight into the caravan via the decking, take your boots off, clothes and all that. And we've been collecting pallets and things to do that, and we've got more scaffold boards. But in the meantime, it's just a question of clearing this and trying to level it as best we can. And of course, I've only got hand tools. Yes, if you had a digger it would be alright, but all this plastic, whoever had this place before us certainly wasn't looking after it in the way that we wish to do. So, and there's weeds of the old brambles, stingers, thistles. They've all got to be pulled up, or at least they'll be covered by the decking.
So our little growing area, little fenced growing area, has been getting a little bit neglected, and it's starting to look rather rubbish. And we've been saving all these cardboard boxes. They've been getting wet and everything, but we've been saving them to make briquettes for fire, for putting in the log burners and stuff, to save a bit of money. But we're not in a position to do that yet, and these boxes have just been getting wetter and wetter, and I figured the best use for them at the moment would just to be to pick up the black plastic from the growing area, put a layer of this soggy cardboard down, and then put the plastic back over just to keep the weeds from coming up. And then hopefully next time we come, we'll put up the plastic again, chuck down a load of topsoil and compost, and get our onions and peas and beans in, which would be good, and just fill this thing up with life. Looking forward to it. So I've got a lot of potting to do at the moment. We've got those cabbages, or was it radishes? We thought were radish, but actually cabbage. Repotted them into bigger pots because I can't bear the thought of putting them in the ground and then having something untoward happen to them, because I've noticed there's still other things getting nibbled in there, so the pheasants are probably still getting in. We're going to have to net over the top of this fenced area for that reason. So yeah, the cabbages, the radishes, will go back in the polytunnel. In the meantime, I need to get some peas into some little pots to get them shooting up, and then when they're ready I can put them in the ground. But we've got lots of broad beans as well that I need to put in the ground straight away. We've got cauliflower, more cabbages, and I'm pointing at them, you can't see them, we might put them on screen. We've got more cabbages and beans, and what's the other one? More cabbages. Oh, and cauliflower, that's the one. Furthermore, I need to get these in the ground. They're starting to shoot. These ones are not too bad. These ones are shooting a bit too long. These are onions. Any particular type of onions? Just alliums. Onion sets. So yes, I need to get them in the ground because they are over ready and don't want to waste them. We'll see how we get on.
So, after a little bit of work here, we have our caravan area, little spot where it's going to go, and we've just put down some trunks there from the old spruces just to mark it out, so we've got a vague idea. Caravan probably isn't going to be that big anyway, and it probably won't be here for another month as far as we as filming now, but when it comes and it's dry enough to bring it on to the land, we've got that positioned, and we've had to work out how we're going to get the caravan up and through, because we've got a lot of brambles, and we've got these hazels, not hazels, yeah they are hazels, no they're not, they're willow, that's it, around this area. So we've just had to cut things a little bit back so that the rooting is okay, and then this particular area actually was awash with stinging nettles, and already looking at the floor or the ground I can see that they're more and more coming ready to spurt up. And when we get our tractor, the fact that we're sort of clearing this area means that we'll be able to put a mower attachment on the back and just keep those stingers and the grass down, and that'll be perfect then for this little spot. And of course we're only visiting the farm, and the idea is obviously it's going to be great if we can stay over 1 or 2 nights a week. So there may be a little bit of I don't know, solar panels and things, just enough so that in the evening we can do that, but it's not like a big off-grid living on property at the moment by any means, and who knows what the future lies for us. But in the meantime I've got to get the brambles that I've snipped off out and onto a pile ready to burn later on in a month's time when it's all dry. Someone's been busy.
Yeah. Just red onions that end, white onions this end, Shakespeare or something or other. Yeah, loving this, but I am absolutely shattered. My head's throbbing, but they smell amazing already.